Hyperbole is a literary device that involves deliberate and obvious exaggeration used for emphasis or effect. It is not meant to be taken literally, but is intended to create a strong impression. For example, saying, "I've told you 1,000,000 times," doesn't mean literally 1,000,000, but simply many times. The word hyperbole comes from the Greek word hyperbole, upavoli, meaning excess or exaggeration. It is derived from hyper, above or beyond, and balein, to throw, together suggesting to throw beyond. This etymology reflects the idea of going beyond the truth or reality to make a point. Hyperbole has been used since ancient times. In classical Greek literature, figures like Homer used exaggeration to describe heroes and battles. In the Iliad, warriors are described as godlike, and their feats are larger than life. Roman rhetoricians like Quintilian also discussed hyperbole as a tool in oratory, recognizing its power in persuasive speech. Writers and poets use hyperbole for various purposes, both emotional and rhetorical. Its exaggerated style helps to emphasize a point. Hyperbole makes an idea or feeling stand out. By exaggerating, authors draw attention to the intensity or absurdity of a situation. Create emotional impact. It helps to convey strong emotions such as love, anger, sorrow, or excitement. The exaggeration mirrors the speaker's emotional intensity. Stimulate imagination. A hyperbole creates vivid imagery that stretches the reader's imagination, often leading to a more memorable or engaging experience. Add humor or satire. Writers often use hyperbole in humorous or satirical contexts to mock or criticize by overstating reality. Highlight absurdities or ironies. By pushing things to extremes, hyperbole can reveal the ridiculousness or irony of a situation. As Cleanth Brooks noted in The Well-Wrought Urn, poetry thrives on paradox, ambiguity, and yes, on the artful use of exaggeration. Hyperbole then becomes not just a figure of speech, but a method of deepening meaning. Poetry often relies on hyperbole to express emotions and ideas in a way that resonates powerfully with the reader. Poets use exaggeration to capture abstract or overwhelming feelings and translate them into language. William Shakespeare. Shakespeare used hyperbole extensively, especially in his sonnets and dramas. In Sonnet 18, he compares his beloved to a summer's day. "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate." Here, the beloved is not just beautiful, but exceeds even the best of nature. In Romeo and Juliet, Romeo famously declares, "With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out." Romeo's hyperbolic statements reflect his passionate love, showing how emotion can defy even physical barriers. Andrew Marvell. In To His Coy Mistress, Marvell uses hyperbole to explore themes of love and time. "Love you 10 years before the flood, and you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews." The speaker exaggerates the span of time he would dedicate to courtship to convince his mistress of the urgency of love. The humor and irony lie in the sheer impossibility of such timelines. Emily Dickinson. Dickinson's poetry often employs subtle hyperbole to express intense inner experience. "I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too?" Here, calling herself nobody is an exaggerated way to reflect feelings of anonymity and perhaps critique societal norms. Another example, "I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell." Such exaggerations lend her poems a spiritual and psychological intensity. Contemporary poetry. Modern poets continue to use hyperbole, Consider this line from Allen Ginsberg's Howl: "I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness." This sweeping declaration exaggerates for emotional power, conveying a sense of generational loss and disillusionment. In prose, whether in fiction, essays or drama, hyperbole often serves narrative, rhetorical or comic purposes. Charles Dickens. Dickens frequently used hyperbole to build memorable characters and satirical scenes. In Hard Times he writes, "Mr. Gradgrind, with a rule and a pair of scales, and the multiplication table always in his pocket." The exaggeration underscores the character's obsession with facts and utilitarianism. In David Copperfield, the character Aunt Betsy is described with, "She flew at him like a dragon." This kind of exaggerated description adds drama and humor. Jonathan Swift. In A Modest Proposal, Swift famously uses hyperbole as a satirical weapon. He suggests that the Irish poor might ease their economic troubles by selling their children as food to the rich. "A young, healthy child, well nursed, is at a year old a most delicious, nourishing and wholesome food." The grotesque exaggeration shocks readers, making Swift's criticism of British policy unforgettable. Mark Twain. Twain often used hyperbole for humor. In The Adventures of Tom Sawyer he writes, "He was suffering the torments of a damned soul." Tom is just enduring a minor punishment, but the exaggeration makes it hilarious and relatable. Twain's hyperbolic style helps readers see the world through a child's imaginative and exaggerated perspective. Modern writers. Writers like Kurt Vonnegut, Salman Rushdie and Zadie Smith use hyperbole in postmodern or metafictional ways. In Rushdie's Midnight's Children, Salim Sinai declares, "I had been mysteriously handcuffed to history, my destinies indissolubly chained to those of my country." The hyperbole emphasizes the symbolic role of the narrator as a metaphor for an entire nation. Many literary critics have examined hyperbole not just as a stylistic device, but as a window into literary imagination. Cleanth Brooks. In his formalist criticism, Brooks acknowledged how devices like hyperbole strengthen poetic paradox and tension. In The Well-Wrought Urn, he emphasized how exaggeration often carries metaphorical truth, even when it defies literal logic. Northrop Frye. In Anatomy of Criticism, Frye noted that hyperbole plays a central role in myth and romance, where larger-than-life events and characters are common. According to Frye, hyperbole is the idiom of the high mimetic mode, where heroes and events are lifted above the ordinary. Harold Bloom often discussed the sublime exaggeration of Romantic and Shakespearean verse. He argued that hyperbole allows poets to express the inexpressible, tapping into what he calls the anxiety of influence, where poets seek to outdo their predecessors through grandiose language. Contemporary scholars. Modern scholars see hyperbole as a dynamic tool for exploring identity, trauma, and absurdity. In post-colonial and feminist literature, hyperbole often reveals hidden truths by exaggerating oppression or reclaiming voice. Hyperbole is a powerful and enduring literary device that stretches the limits of language and imagination. Whether used to express love, critique society, entertain readers, or reveal deep truths, hyperbole adds color and drama to both poetry and prose. From the classical epics of Homer to the plays of Shakespeare, from the satire of Swift to the novels of Twain and Rushdie, hyperbole remains a vibrant part of literary expression. It allows authors to elevate the ordinary, illuminate the emotional, and engage the reader in the marvel of the written word. In today's writing, whether in novels, films, or everyday speech, hyperbole continues to thrive. We still say things like, "I'm starving," or "that was the best day ever," knowing we don't mean them literally, but emotionally. As literature students or content creators, recognizing hyperbole can enrich your appreciation of style and meaning. As the critic Northrop Frye said, exaggeration in literature is not a lie. It is a higher form of truth.